everybody, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 5.2. I gave a little bit of an introduction before, and I had another video that I posted all about how to find a common denominator using what I call as the T-chart method. It's my favorite way to do it. It's easiest for me and how my brain works. But I'm going to show you 3 more ways today that could be easy for you as well. So find the way that works for you, and you may use any way that you choose as long as you're getting the right answer. Okay? So we're going to start with our strategies. So the first strategy we're going to look for, and all of our mental math and all of that stuff is going to be during live lessons. So we're going to talk about just our options. So when we did 5.2, we actually learned about option number 1. So one of the first options that you can do is you can actually make a list of all equivalent fractions for each fraction. Make a list of equivalent fractions. Make a list of all equivalent fractions until you find them with the same denominator. Here's my hint, guys. When I'm writing something down, pause the video and write it down as well. It's going to help you, I promise. Make a list of equivalent fractions until you find them, or find the equivalent fractions, with the same denominator. So that is one option. That is what we practiced yesterday. That strategy was awesome. It was easy to do, I think. It was good. It was good when you have the chart to use and to go back for and to go back and look at things. And it's good if you're going to use fractions over and over and over again. All right, strategy number 2. Strategy number 2 is when you actually look at the denominators and you see, does one denominator go into the other one? Is it a multiple? So here we go. See if one denominator is a multiple of the other one. This can be seen, and this is pretty evident if you look at fractions that are, like if you have one that is 1/2 and 1/6. I can tell you that 2 goes into 6 really easily. And since 2 goes into 6, I'll only need to change one fraction. Okay, that's what that means. Does one fraction's denominator go into the other denominator equally? So if I had the fraction 3 1/3 and 1/8, 3 does not go into 8 equally. So this would not work for that one. Okay, does that make sense? So figure out, see if one denominator is a multiple of the other denominator, and then if so, use that one. Okay. The last strategy, one of the other strategies that we have, is we can multiply the 2 original denominators and use their product. QCD. This is called the QCD, or the quick common denominator. This can be used when you have problems like 2/6 and 9/15. Instead of sitting there and listing out all of the different factors for 6, or multiples of 6, and all of the multiples of 15, one option that you can do is you can actually multiply 6 times 15. 6 times 15, okay, 6 times 5 is 30, carry my 3, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So this method would mean my common denominator was going to be 90. So I would multiply this one by 15 over 15. And I would multiply this side by 6 over 6. That's the quick common denominator. The problem with this method is the numbers are larger. 15 times 2, 30 over 90. 9 times 6, 54 over 90. So then if you have to add those, it can be a little tricky because the numbers are bigger. Doesn't mean it's wrong, it just makes it a little tricky. Okay? So keep that in mind. That is an option. Quick common denominator. Now, as we go further into math and further learning with our math, sometimes you're going to have to learn how to reduce and rename and simplify fractions. And if you start with like 54 over 90, you're going to have a few steps. So that's just something to keep in mind. Can you still use this? Absolutely. Will you have more steps later on? Probably. Okay. Which strategy do you think you would prefer? Would you prefer to make a list of the equivalent fractions like we did yesterday? See if one denominator is a multiple of the other? Or multiply the two? What's the easiest for you? So, for me, I prefer of these strategies. Now, you know which one I like. Of these specific strategies, I prefer 2. I'd rather change one fraction, not 2 fractions. So for me, I prefer strategy 2 because you only have to change one fraction if it works. So again, as long as one goes into the other one equally, then that's the only fraction you need to rename. You don't have to rename both. All right, let's look at number 4. It says use any of these strategies to find the common denominators. Rewrite each pair of fractions using common denominators, then solve. All right, so we're going to look at the first one. We're going to try all of them. We're going to see which one works. All right, let's start with I like strategy 2. See if one denominator is a multiple of the other. Does 6 go into 9 equally? Nope. Well, that stinks. That means I can't use that one. Make a list of all the common denominators. I could do that. Or multiply by each other. 9 and 6. Ugh. I don't want to necessarily do that because 9 times 6 is 54. It'd be too big of a number. So our book gave us a little bit of a hint. What they did is they said, you know what? My equivalent fractions show me that they both have a denominator of 18. And they renamed it for us. That's awesome, right? So now, anywhere that I see 2/9, I'm going to make it say 4/18. 4/18. 4/18. 4/18. Just renamed it. Anywhere that I see 5/6, I'm going to write 15/18. 15/18. 15/18. 15/18. Done. And now I'm going to do the math. The first thing that I need to do is I need to add. What is 4/18 plus 15/18? All right, 4 plus 15 is 19 over 18. Uh-oh. I don't like it. It's not pretty. I'm going to rename that fraction. 19 divided by 18 is 1 with 1 left over. So 1 and 1/18. Let's try the next one. 15/18 minus 4/18. If I'm going to subtract, What is 15/18 minus 4/18? All right, this one should be 11/18. And finally, greater than, less than, or equal to, which one is bigger? Or are they equal? Well, I know that 15 is a lot bigger than 4. So that, is what I would have put. Awesome. Let's look at number 2. 12 and 4. So I'm going to try my strategies again. I really like number 2. Does 4 go into 12 equally? Let's see. 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 3. Yeah, that equals 12. Great. That tells me that my common denominator will be 12. My second fraction will not change because it's already 12. My first fraction will. 4 times what equals 12? 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 3, 12. So I'm going to multiply it by 3. Remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. 3 times 3 is 9. My denominator is 12. So, anywhere I see 3/4, I'm going to write my new name. 7/12 can stay the same. All right, let's see. 9/12 plus 7/12. 9/12 minus 7/12. And 9/12. Which one's bigger? All right, let's do this one at a time. 2b. What is 9/12 plus 7/12? 9/12 plus 7/12 is 16/12. I don't like that. It's not pretty. I need to rename that fraction into a mixed number. I know that if I do my mixed number method, it's going to be 16 divided by 12 is 1. 4 left over. Denominator stays the same. So 1 and 4/12. This is a review on how to rename them like this. So if you don't remember how to do that, go back and watch the video on renaming fractions. Here we go. 9/12 minus 7/12. Super easy. Super easy. Super duper easy. 9 minus 7 is 2. My denominator stays the same. And finally, which one is bigger? Is 9/12 bigger than 7/12? 7/12 bigger than 9/12? Or are they equal? Well, this one's super easy, so we're just going to do it. There you go. Let's look at number 3. So number 3, you're going to help me out with this one, okay? My denominators, I have a 7 and a 2. Ugh. 7 and a 2. I can't do my strategy because 2 doesn't go into 7. I could make a list of equivalent fractions, or I could just use the quick common denominator. I'm going to use the quick common denominator. I'm going to multiply my denominators. What is 2 times 7? 14. So I need to make both denominators 14. So 7 times what equals 14? Times 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Great. All right, 2 times 7 equals 14. All right, 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 14. There are my new fractions. All right, how would I rewrite problem B? The way I would rewrite this is I would take my number 4 7s is the same as 8 14ths. 1/2 is the same as 7 14ths. And then I would add 8 plus 7 is 15 over 14. And then I would rename that. I would make it 1 and 1/14. That's what I would do with that problem. How would I rewrite and solve part C? All right, I would rewrite this as 8 14ths minus 7 14ths equals 1/14. That's how I would rewrite and solve. And finally, for part 3D, fill in the blank. Which one is bigger? Is it greater than, less than, or equal to? I'm going to rewrite my problems. 8 over 14, 7 over 14. All right, what's bigger, 8 or 7? Awesome. All right, look at page 157. It says, for each problem, find a common denominator, write which strategy you used, and then write the fractions using a common denominator and solve. All right, let's look at number 4. I have my denominators are 3 and 15. Which strategy would you use? Well, I would probably use the number 2 again, because I know that 3 goes into 15, right? Yeah, so the strategy I noticed, one denominator was a multiple of the other. All right, fractions with a common denominator. I'm going to make them both 15. So that means this one I don't have to change. 3 times what equals 15? Let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. 3 times 5. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. All right, 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. This should look familiar. All right, what is part C? 2/3 plus 10/15. We already rewrote them. What's my final answer? All right, for this one, we already rewrote it. We already know what we're doing. This is the same as 10/15. 10/15 plus 10/15 is 20 over 15, and I don't like that. I think it's not pretty. I need to divide and rename that. 20/15 is the same as 1 and 5/15. All right, fill in the blank. Greater than, less than, or equal to. What do you think? What do you think? All right, for this one, it is equal. We know that 10/15 and 10/15 is the same exact answer. So if I compare them, it's the same number. All right, let's look at number 5. Number 5 says 1/4 and 2/9. Do I want to list out the equivalent fractions? Do I want to figure out, is one denominator a multiple, or am I going to find the quick common denominator? Which one should we use? For this one, I know that 4 does not go into 9 equally, so I can't do option 2. I don't really want to list out all of the fractions. So I'm going to use the quick common denominator. Make it simple. Quick common denominator. All right, here we go. My quick common denominator between 4 and 9, my quick common denominator is going to be, what's 4 times 9? What's my denominator going to be? My denominator will be 36. 4 times 9 is 36. So here we go. All right, remember, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit for this one for you. Here we go. I'm going to multiply this fraction by 4 over 4, and this one by 9 over 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 4 times 1 is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. Times 4 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 9 times 4 is 36. So my two fractions will become 9 and 36 and 8 over 36. All right, let's do our subtraction. What is 9/36 minus 8/36? Well, 9 minus 8 is 1. My denominator stays the same. All right, greater than, less than, or equal to. My name for 1/4 is the same as 9/36. My renamed fraction for 2/9 would be 8 over 36. So what do you think? Greater than, less than, or equal to? Super easy. All right, here we go. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see my next question. 5/6 and 3/4. This one, my denominator is not a multiple. I could use the quick common denominator, but I think there's an easier way. For this one, I'm going to list out my factors. I listed equivalent fractions. All right, 5/6. Let's see. 5/6, 10/12, 15/18. I'm going to stop there. All right, 3/4. 3/4, 6/8, 9/12. All right, there we go. I have my common denominators, 10/12 and 9/12. All right, add the fractions together. What is my answer for number 6C? Rename it if you need to. All right, if I need to rename this, I'm going to do 10/12 plus 9/12 equals 19/12. And I don't like that. It is not pretty. I'm going to divide. 19 divided by 12 is 1 with 7 left over. So 1 and 7/12. All right, let's do the subtraction. 10/12 minus 9/12. This one is super simple. It is 1/12. Super simple. All right, looking at problem 6. There is another strategy I could have used. I could have done the quick common denominator, right? What other strategy could I have used? Quick common denominator. Which strategy do I think is best and why? Well, for me, I think this strategy is better because my numbers are smaller. It's easier to work with. I liked making a list of equivalent fractions because my numbers were smaller and easier to work with. That's what I would have done for that one. All right, that is the rest of lesson 5.2. Make sure you are working hard to try to get all of your assignments done, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.